Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. I'm here with my partner in crime, as always, Mr. Tate Mathews. Tate, another team state championship in the books. We had a couple of individual championships we're going to talk about. And the football playoffs, they've started. We're round 2 this week with some great matchups.
Yep, a lot of great things to talk about this week. And another team championship, I know that makes you very happy. And there was also not only the team championship and the individual championships, there was also several other individuals that had great performances. Would that be considered Shackle Island up in Sumner? I know it's Sumner County.
No.
Drakes Creek.
Drakes Creek,
in the Drakes Creek area. So, and then football playoffs.
The beach folks, we don't venture over to Drakes Creek unless we have to.
I'll never forget it. A good friend one time said, "I'm from Beach." "Oh, you're from Hendersonville?" "No, I'm from Beach." I said, "Noted."
Point well taken. Let's talk a little cross country. We're going to start with that, and then we'll go into football playoffs. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Coach Rob Patinas, Coach Doty doing a great job as an assistant. 5 straight championships for Brentwood girls cross country. Claire Stegall with her 3rd straight title. And, man, we had some individuals, especially on the girls' side, to really step up, Mr. Mathews.
One for the thumb.
They've lost 1 race in that entire time, and they had a plethora of runners that were sick, and they ran, I think, the next week or 2 against that same squad with their full squad and just
destroyed them.
Roasted them. It's almost unfair at this point.
Well, and it doesn't seem to be any slowing down, and there doesn't really
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Very good. And there doesn't seem to be anyone really to challenge him. So, would you like to get into the team scores?
I would.
Okay.
And I've got a little. It's not the gem of the week, but I've got something I want to add with Brentwood once you give the scores.
So
go ahead.
let's just set this up for the viewer. Okay. Again, remind everybody how scoring is done in cross country.
So you have 7 runners there as a team. Your top 5 finishers, and if you finish first, that's a 1. You finish 5th, that's a 5. So it's low score. What those 5 scores add up to be.
You want the lowest point total. Brentwood High comes in at first place, 38 points. They had a 3, a 5, a 7, a 10, and a 13.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. Collierville comes in at number 2 with a nail biter here, 141. They beat them by 103 points. They had a 15, a 25, a 26, 34, 41. So what I'm saying is not only are they clearly number one, I mean, it's not even close. It's not even close.
Not close.
Their top finisher was 15. Brentwood's 6th slowest time was 14. They had six runners before Collierville's first one. Nolansville came in at 152. They had a great showing, pretty good. Their first place runner was first place in the entire event.
That helps.
Claire Stegall, as you mentioned, her 3rd straight title with a 17:28:35. I think we can mention this without getting specifics. Towards the end of the race, she was not at 100%, but you could never tell. She was smoking, and she came in first place with a time of what we just said, 7:28:35. Second place was Lorelei Witten out of Summit, who's, by the way, a 9th grader. I'd say she's got some success ahead of her. She was 17:47:46. I mean, she's amazing, man.
So a couple of things I wanted to point out. And by the way, page 4th.
Page 4th.
Page 4th. So here's a little something. So we're going to play a little, let's try to keep up with Brentwood. Let's just say Brentwood will say, let's count all 7 of our scores.
Okay.
That's what we'll do.
Okay.
If you count all 7 of their scores, they still have a 74. Right. They beat 2nd place by 67. We could even go down, I think we could say we'll count all 7 and you guys count your top 4 and they still win. It's actually gotten ridiculous.
It's dominating. It's not even boat race city worthy. It's worse than that. It's total domination. Mentioned Lorelei Witten of Summit. She came in 2nd. Sienna Anderson of Summit was 3rd with a time of 17:51:30. Layla Haley of Rockville came in 4th, and then Lauren Banavac of Brentwood, 18:08.26. So we had 4 of the top 5, Banavac, Anderson, and Witten. All
Done.
underclassmen.
We ended up with 10 out of the top 13. Let me get some more in here, Tate. Larkin Johnson, Centennial, was 7th. Lydia Cromwell, Brentwood, 8th. Abby Cobb, Brentwood, 10th. The Boutros sisters, Sophia and Gabrielle from Page. They end up with some great careers. They're seniors this year. Can't believe it went that quick. Again, no pun intended. They go 11-12. Rachel Hawes, Brentwood, 13th. And you got Banavac, Leah, Brentwood, 16th. Emma Hagee, Brentwood, a freshman, 17th. It's out of hand. On the boys' side.
So Emma, yeah, okay. It's amazing, right?
It's a joke, really. It's really, there's not really much you can say. It's outrageous.
It's outrageous.
On the boys' side, Asher Oates.
Congrats, Asher.
Came through for Independence. He won the individual championship in 15:03.5. He was also smoking. On the boys' side, Hardin Valley Academy wins with the score of 88. That's a quality squad.
Yes.
Nolensville High. Here comes Nolo. 117. They finished 2nd. Farragut, your old school,
Admirals.
finishes 3rd. Brentwood 4th. Independence 8th. So you got to give it to Coach Demetra at Nolensville, doing a good job there. It's not just the Claire Stegall show. And what's interesting on the boys' side, kind of like the Brentwood girls do, 8th, 16th, 24th, 27th. Had one that was 42. We get a couple of those moved up. We might be talking about a Nolensville state championship coming up on the boys' side. So great job.
Well, and even more impressive with Nolensville getting that 2 places higher than Brentwood High. Brentwood High had a 2 and a 5.
Sure did.
And they still ended up placing 2 places higher than them. So, yeah, track and field and cross country. It's a Brentwood High, Nolensville county right now.
Callahan Fielder, Brentwood, you mentioned 2nd. Keller Vaughn 5th. Then you've got Logan Humphreys from Nolensville 8th. Andrew Allgood from Ravenwood 17th. Caden Peace Summit, the freshman, 19th. I love his name. Jack Glisson Schlitt of Nolensville. He makes the all-name team. He's also finishes 20th. I want to give a shout-out, too, to
good week for you, Jack.
to Fairview. Girls finished 9th.
Yep.
Boys finished 8th. When we're talking the AAA race, Andy LaRon 6th, Reese LaRon 8th on the girls' side. Carter Splitberger, another great name, finishes as the top boys from Fairview. So, listen, we got 4 team titles. We've played 3 sports. We got 4 team titles. We got a couple individual. We rolling, baby.
Rolling.
And you know what people forget?
It just means more.
We're also playing lacrosse this spring. We're going to win probably 4.
Yes.
I mean,
going to win a couple track championships.
You know, my goal is we get kicked out of Tito. Like you guys, you're out. You won too much.
Yeah, the problem is, well, I guess maybe Page, Nolensville, Centennial, and Fairview. The problem is kind of like, what they're doing in D2. They're making one of the middle teams go up to AAA. Problem is, they're 6A is as big as it gets. Where are you going to send them?
We like the iron sharpens iron. If that did happen and we got kicked out, it'd still be fun.
Just have our own conference.
It'd be fun. Be Dr. Qual's dream.
Well, does an emerging sport state championship count?
No, but it'll be.
All right, because pretty sure we'll win that one too.
Flag in 2 years, look out. All right, Tate, let's do this. We're going to jump into football, but we've got to hit things head on.
We do.
It's just what we've got to do. But it's early.
Hit it head on.
Are you talking about our 6A? Our 6A, Ravenwood versus Cane Ridge?
Playoff edition. Hey, Cane Ridge, round 2. Thanks for playing. Adjustments didn't work. Second time around, hard to beat a team twice in the same season. Didn't work. 42 zilch. It was 35-0 at half. The Raptors defeat the Ravens. By the way, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you've noticed this. Have you ever noticed Cane Ridge's logo?
It's a raptor.
It's the original Ravenwood Raven. The original Ravenwood Raptor logo. They stole their logo. So I don't know. Maybe Coach Hester had a little bit maybe Dr. Vaden said, hey, put another one on after that 35-0 at half, but it was Boat Race City. Coach Hester was in the tri-tune. He had that thing hammered down, listening to a little CCR on the radio. Boat Race City, I know Mimi Hester was really happy. It was here's what I loved about it. You beat Oakland in overtime. You come back, you got the Battle of the Wood. No letdown there. Boom. I mean, you can't end the season with two bigger games than they had. No letdown in the first round of the. And I noticed you got some figures over there. I'm guessing that's the 2-game total.
It is. They're on a mission too. In case you're keeping score at home, you probably need a calculator. 42 plus 48, which was the first one.
Yes.
90-0. Now, here's the other thing. Coach Hester's a great dude now. That tells me it could have been 100-0.
Oh, yeah.
But they're doing the right thing. Maverick Chance, Caden Pace, both with 2 rushing touchdowns apiece. Femi Babalola and Gavin Hampton, the young fella, with touchdown. I loved it. Touchdown passes, Patrick Sullivan, Jaden Morris. So what we're going to do, Tate, we're going to go through 6A.
Okay.
We'll keep it by class. So number 1 seed, Ravenwood, they win versus Cane Ridge. Number 2 seed, Brentwood, 37-21 winner over Smyrna. Some would say, hey, it was only 14-13 at the half. It's kind of the way Brentwood's built. Don't look for them just to come out and smoke people. It's what the final score ends up being. It's what you always say about the Brentwood track and cross country. It's kind of death by 1,000 cuts. Brentwood, you can't really look at first quarter scores, halftime scores. It's final scores. 37-21 win for Coach Finch and his squad. I'm looking forward. I don't want to give away my picks, but we're heading for another Battle of the Woods.
I think that would be a correct
assessment.
Well, here's the problem. Not everybody in the first round of the playoffs stinks. Okay, Smyrna's a good football team.
They are.
So
and you always talk about Coach Williams does a good job.
Yeah, he does a great job. They coach him up well, and they have players and they're physical. So, 14-13 second half, 14-13 at halftime. That's because Smyrna's a quality football program, and if they lost a tough one to Antioch, they very easily could have been the 2 seed. So, anyways, what stood out to me was I think that the Brentwood scoring 37 points, that was big. Now, defense helped them a little bit, but that's another thing we've been talking about was it's an opportunistic defense. They're around the ball a lot, and they've created a lot of turnovers throughout the year. Had some defensive touchdowns. They had 2 in Friday's game. So 37 of the, or I guess, 25, 12 of the touchdowns came from the defensive end, but 2 defensive touchdowns, Jackson Allen with a pick 6, and then Mason Ball, a 90-yard scoop and
He's
score.
played great. Mason Ball's played great.
He's played great. He's the lone returning starter on defense. He's always around the ball. Usually takes their best receiver. He's played really, really well, man. You can tell he's got a knack for that side of the ball.
Gavin Nelson, J.C. White, great games. I thought this was pretty cool too. Mr. James C. Parker, his name's on the stadium. So
that doesn't happen much.
That guy.
Not around here, does it?
Former principal at Brentwood, the original. We've talked about this before, but he has never missed a game. This guy subs. He's a substitute teacher.
Oh, I know.
They recognized him before the game. His 500th straight game was the Battle of the Woods. Home, away, whatever, he goes on the bus with them. So it was actually 501 for that playoff game. And apparently, Mr. Parker had a little medical thing he had to take care of. He's like, "But you got to back that up. I got to go to the game."
I don't doubt it.
That guy's a baller, man.
Do the math on that.
You talked to him, obviously.
Man, when I can remember when Mrs. Pfizer, as Coach Mike Lynn used to call her Mama, when she was the principal at Woodland, every time I was there, Mr. Parker was subbing. I mean, every time. I said, "Mr. Parker, how many days a week do you sub?" He said, "Oh, just about every day." I said, "Why did you retire?" He said, "Because when you're retired, if you want to sub and you want to work, you can. But if you don't want to, you don't have to." I'm like, "But you come every day." Anyways.
It's actually, and I'll tell you this, I love this. The way Mr. Kydell He properly props him up, not in a great way.
Yeah.
It is awesome. You said do the math. Well, it's 42 years of games because it's 82, right? So when they opened. Goodness gracious. That's commitment. Never miss?
Never.
Listen, you're a guy, you always support your kids. I bet you've missed some of your own kids' games. And no?
Not football games.
Hey, Dad, I got a freshman.
I might have missed a basketball game.
I got
or
a
two.
freshman basketball. Okay. Good luck.
Maybe.
I'd love to be there. You know what I'm saying?
That's his baby, right?
He loves it.
He loves it.
He loves it.
And the community loves him.
It's great, man. I really do. And Charles Pulliam did a great job with the write-up. Charles is the man.
Yeah, he is.
I know he's watching. By the way, I think we should mention, because every week we try to mention some folks that watch us, so we appreciate Charles for watching us. But I had a business call before the show. We started a little bit late, so I had to talk to my man, Coach Brees, out at Grassland. We mention him all the time, but I don't know if anybody is more loyal than Coach Brees.
Coach Brees is in the viewership fan club. Quick to point out what he disagrees with in each show on a text message.
Which is okay.
I love it.
He's usually wrong, by the way.
He's 99%.
Remember the bowling? He tried to get me on bowling.
Of course.
Not so fast.
The guy starts coaching bowling, and now he thinks he's a bowling expert. He thinks he's John Goodman over here, the Big Lebowski, and he tried to check the executive producer of the show. Not so fast, my friend. You were incorrect, Coach. But we appreciate you, and
we love you.
And we love listening to your highlights every Friday night.
That's great.
You do a great job on the TV game of the week.
Number 3 seed in 6A, Franklin. They go on the road, beat a good Antioch team.
Yep.
It's a good team, 28-14. They were up early in that game, 22-0 early in the second quarter. Brewer Wilson, again, every week this happens, 3 touchdowns, 3 different guys. Which leads me, by the way, Tate Mathews, to this week's gym. First playoff win since 2020 for Franklin. Here's it's kind of lining up. That year, Franklin, in the second round, defeated on the road Ravenwood. They eventually lost.
Is this a little foreshadowing?
I mean, it's lining up for some magic to happen. Maybe you'll pick Franklin.
Well, here's what I love about them. One, Antioch's a good football team. Everybody talked about the tough schedule Franklin's played. Antioch's played a tough schedule too. They have an unbelievably athletic quarterback in Andre Adams, and I believe those 14 points came later on in the game. Defense played lights out, man. Antioch's good offense, can score points, and we've talked about it. Coach Atkins has really brought an edge, kind of an attitude. We don't back down from anybody attitude to the Admiral football team, and you can see it right there. They came out, they're up 22-0. Man, I like the way these guys play with a lot of confidence and a lot of bravado, and it's what they needed, a lot of fight. So that's a good playoff win, man.
It's all
on the road.
It's all heading to this matchup.
It is
this week.
It is. It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one.
Hey. They were over there at the Starwood dump and got a nice win, 28-14.
Starwood was awesome, though.
You don't know, you don't know.
I got a feeling some of our viewers know.
Dang right.
The last game, the one we lost in 6A, Independence 14 at Stewart's Creek, the number 1 seed, a very good Stewart's Creek team, 20. The Eagles led 14-7 at the half. It was 14-all going to the fourth quarter. A couple of rushing touchdowns from Matthew Horner and Calvin Wall. What turned out to be, and listen, it's our job. We got to talk about it. Coach Scott Stidham, at the end of his 3rd year, let go as head coach there at Independence High School. Listen, coaches know, Coach Stidham knows it is a sad part of the business in terms of coaching. I'll say this about Coach Stidham and getting to work with him for 3 years. I don't know if you worked with him before his time here, but you talk to the other coaches, just the way he handles his business. Listen, he's the kind of guy you want your son playing for. What a wonderful dude he is. What a wonderful coach. Can't wait to see where he lands because he's got a bright future still too.
No doubt about it. I actually did. My oldest son Got the opportunity to play in the TACA East-West All-Star game that Coach Marbett and Coach Plummer put on. And Coach Stidham was the head coach of the West. Coach Matt Kreisky and Coach Paul Derrick were assistants on that staff. Anyways, got to know him there. So one of my sons actually did get to play for him for 5 days up there. And hey man, throw out the part that this is what I love about the man. We got a lot of them, but not everybody. Everybody knows what a great football coach he is. He's a man of faith, and he's a man of integrity. Man.
He is.
That man, if you're talking about integrity, I put Coach Stidham up there with anybody.
Listen, you're in a lot.
You're right. Somebody's going to get a good one. It's part of it, especially in 6A football, and he knows that. He'll be the first one to say it. But first class, man. I'd let any of my kids play for that man.
And listen, you're in a lot of schools. Obviously, this doesn't happen much here, but sometimes when you go into schools and you're looking for the football coach, he's not in class killing it.
No.
He's not. This guy takes care of his business.
He's hidden back in the field house somewhere.
He's not in a recliner. Let's just put it that way. Looking forward to seeing what happens with him. And selfishly, I hope.
And he's not showing movies in class either.
No. Selfishly, I hope we can find him a spot here doing something, because you want Scott Stidham's in your school system.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Tate, let's move on to 5A. Page.
Hey, well, and can I say this real quick?
Sure.
They got better.
Got better.
They got better, man. Won their last 2 games of the season, right? Or 2 of the last.
They were 0-6.
Yeah.
And they finish up 3-7.
Yeah, so they won their last 3.
3 of their last 4.
And 3 of the last 4, and had a chance. I'm telling you now, I'm not saying I am, so don't read anything into this. There are a lot of people picking Stuart Streak to beat Brentwood. Okay, they were up. They had a chance to win that game, a good chance to win. They got better, and he coached them all the way through the end of the year. So, anyways.
And they kept playing.
Never lost a team.
Obviously.
Never lost a team.
Let's jump to 5A here. This one might surprise people. Page, number 1 seed, versus Columbia Central, the number 4 seed, 19-2. Sounds like a blowout baseball game. Page led 5-0 at the half. They had a field goal and a Brendan Ains safety. Second half, they get a couple of rushing touchdowns from William Weebush, Colt Brown. Listen, Page faithful, don't panic. It's a win. You move on to the next round. Let's face it, they weren't losing to Columbia in no situation. They got through it. Columbia, listen, those kids compete, did what they needed to do to hang in the game, but Patriot Nation's just fine.
Just fine. I haven't not talked to Coach Rathbone since Friday night, but I believe that they haven't had a letdown all year. This is what this looks like to me. The film don't lie. They can tell them everything they want to. Those kids are watching the same film you're watching. They, like you said, they know they can't beat them. I don't know that's what happened, but it's my guess. But here's what's scary about them. They obviously did not play they did not play well offensively. They gave up 2 points. I don't know that you can score on this defense. Well, if you can't score, you can't win.
It's going to be tough. Hey, something I just realized, because Columbia, too, there were 2 safeties in that game.
Yeah.
You never see that.
Not very much.
One each squad. Number 2 seed. This may be my favorite win of the week.
No doubt.
Because last year, Coach Darrin didn't make excuses, but they were so injured going into that game with Tullahoma. They get revenge. On the road, they're the 2 seed. They win 23-14. The defense stepped up late. They had a strip sack. Then they had a field goal to take the lead 16-14. Andrew Ryan gets a rushing touchdown to put the game away at 23-14. And then there in the first half, Landon Smotherman, 94-yard kickoff return for the first Nolensville score. I love that result.
Love it. There's so many great things about it. One, you mentioned that that Landon Smotherman kickoff return. That tied it up. We talk a lot about Coach Pauly D and his defensive prowess with coaching the defense along with his staff. Tullahoma scored 14 points in the first quarter. Second and third, fourth quarters, no points.
His adjustments on defense, I'm telling you.
Yeah, they're good.
It's really good.
Tullahoma came out, played well. They adjusted, got a feel for what they're doing. The kids settled in, played great. Brennan Rexroad, tell me if you've heard this story before. 10 tackles on the night. Carson Kelly, 9 tackles. Defense played lights out. And Andrew Ryan, this is pretty neat, had a rushing touchdown to put the game away. He was a wide receiver up until a game ago. They move him from, that you don't just go from wide receiver to playing running back. He had 11 carries, 89 yards, and 1 touchdown.
You do what you have to do.
Do what you got to do.
Hey, and by the way, for those of you keeping score at home, the tackles aren't inflated.
No. Yes. These are actual stats. And the great thing is they sent the sun drop dump back to Coffee County. This ain't the coffee pot bowl, boys.
I love that. I love that, Bill. Coffee pot bowl. I'm a fan of that. I really am.
What about the sun drop dump?
I'm a bigger fan of that. Number 3, Centennial. And believe me, they're not rolling into Page this week thinking, oh, we can't win. I'm just telling you they're not. Centennial, 34-7 at Lincoln County. I didn't think it would be that much. I thought they'd win. I didn't think it'd be 27, not on the road. I think you did. They were up 28-0 at the half. They get 2 pick sixes. So like Brentwood scored 2 touchdowns on defense. Xavier, Tefteller, Isaac Bonds, Carlos Vigil with a rushing touchdown, Riley Turner, touchdown pass to Tavon. Listen, I think a lot of people are looking at that Ravenwood Franklin game, and I think it's a good one. Listen, I can't go to all the games. I'm going to Centennial Page, man.
It's going to be a good one.
I think Centennial come out with a little mojo. I'm not necessarily saying they're going to win, but I think it's going to be – I don't think it'll be 40-something to whatever it was last time, maybe nothing or 7 or whatever it was, but – I think it'll have a good atmosphere to it.
It's going to have a great atmosphere from it. They're kind of like Franklin Ravenwood. It's it happens sometimes. It's a little bit more than a rivalry. It's a little testy.
I like it testy.
I know.
I don't like it.
It's kind of like
I don't like it dirty or mean.
It's kind of like Beach Mount Juliet back in the Beach Gallatin, right? It was. You and Coach Luna got along, but that gym was tense.
Beach Hendersonville.
Well, did they even compete?
That goes without saying.
That's like, I mean,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's got to be competitive.
Yeah.
I did think they would win big. Lincoln County and those coaches are good friends down there, but man, they just don't play anybody. It's not their fault. That's the region that they're in, but that's where. Those non.
Do they play 10 region games?
No, hold on. That's where what you always say. You're right. I believe it 100%. You have to beef up that non-conference schedule, or these are the type of things that happen. Doesn't matter. They were going to get beat anyways. But I love the way the Centennial defense is playing. We know that they were going to figure out offensively and scoring points and 2 pick sixes. I know this will warm your heart. General Nealon, one of the maxims: pass, ball, Oski. Take that thing to the house. It was great. And Carlos Vigil, another rushing touchdown. He's been week after week after week in the second half of the season. He's probably their most consistent player.
He is. That's the word I was going to use, consistent. 3A, Fairview. They fought valiantly. They have to go on the road to Liberty Creek. Last year, Liberty Creek put them out, but it was the reverse. It was like they were coming to Fairview in the second round last year. 20-27, they're down 14-0 early in the second quarter. They fought back. They get a couple of rushing touchdowns from Kentrell Harrison, the sophomore. Liberty Creek responded with a couple of touchdowns. Fairview gets a final score. John Barrick, I wanted to mention him, did a great job filling in for Jax McCoy this year. Touchdown to Caden Lee. Sort of uncharacteristic for Fairview. And they had, let's face it, that was a tough injury at quarterback.
Big time.
But they lost their final 4 games. Yeah. That hadn't really been their deal. So I know Coach Hughes and Fairview, they're disappointed, but it happens.
It happens. That was I think we both thought that's a tough first round draw.
It is.
Liberty Creek for a lot of reasons, but number one, just like Fairview is, Liberty Creek's well coached. Like you're not gonna show up in the first round and just win by out coaching them.
Love Coach Alexander.
Great guy.
Wish he would have lost.
Yes.
But we love him.
Yeah, and in the same way, so that it ended up being 2027. Here's what I'm really excited about. So to all the seniors at Fairview, I think they, they were dealt some injuries this year that, didn't give them their best chance to have the best season they can, but they competed and they fought well, and they leave, Fairview a better place than they found it. I'm really excited about John Barrett.
Me too.
Because now, Jax McCoy, John Barrett, those two got to be on the field at the same time. So I'll be interested to see who's going to be the quarterback. Do they both play quarterback? Where do the other one play? But he showed he can lead this football team and win football games. Jax can. You got two really, really good playmakers coming back that you got to find a way to get on the field at the same time.
Did want to mention this too. Mr. Football semifinalists were announced. And by the way, opponents, you're on notice when there's two from the same school.
On the same side of the ball.
Brendan Ains, Eric Hazard for Page, second go-around for Mr. Hazard. In 5A and 6A, Donovan Star. And listen, I'm going to tell you this about Star, because I firmly believe this. I think what he did in track got him on the map for some of this. I really believe that.
There's no question.
Got people's attention. Obviously, he had to do it on the football field, but.
So two things, and I know we got to go. One, 100% did. One is what he did on the track, and then the catapult, because they're paying attention to that, and Coach Hester,
they are.
Coach Q, and whoever else on that staff, they do a great job of putting that out there. But there are analysts in the wrestling world, we would call them jabronis, that their entire existence is to sit over in a coat closet somewhere and just look for that stuff to pop up. So somewhere in Colorado, that popped up, that a kid in Brentwood, Tennessee, off Wilson Pike named Donovan Star ran a whatever it is now, a 24 on the catapult. But here's what I think even more. When he ran that 100, some of the bigger schools start offering. I think it's given him even more confidence. Because, he didn't start playing football until he's a freshman. I think it gave him even more confidence going into his his senior year of football. I think he's playing with another level of confidence this year. You can see in the plays that he's making. And I think that fastest man in the state was a big part of it. The other thing, we've seen, I'd love to get somebody to do some research on this. We've seen two players from the same team be Mr. Football semifinalists before. I don't know that we've ever seen two linebackers. That just doesn't happen. I don't know that we've seen two defensive players. Shows you how great their defense is. And I have no idea. I'm going to say I think Hazard wins. I don't know if Star will. He very well could. I'm almost willing to go all in. Hazard wins it.
Now listen, I get on a lot of trains. The first one I got on was Fairview Wrestling. Yes, I jumped on. I got on the Hazard
the
train.
Bubba Derrick train was your first, and you never really got off.
I'm still on it.
Still on.
Eric Hazard, I was on that one.
I'm a little worried about this, by the way.
What are you saying?
I'll believe that when he signs.
Oh, you're
paper.
saying? Yeah. Who offered him? Mississippi State?
Yeah.
I mean,
there's more to come.
SEC, it's hard to. No matter, they're getting a great.
You didn't ask, but we are buddies. I'd much rather live in Louisville than Starkville.
Plus, that hurts the Vols if he's playing Mississippi State.
Well, it hurts me to watch what happened today. I mean, I don't see any.
Oh yeah,
I don't see that changing
anytime
soon.
It's probably not changing. Hey, let's get into this.
I can't believe this.
Pick'ems, and look, listen, we got to get together on this. Look, I don't have to win. I don't have to win. But there's no way we can let Dr. Qualls
He's
win.
never won.
Listen, he was 8-0 last week. Give him credit.
I can't believe it.
You were 8-0 last week. Give you credit. The fans and I was 7-1. I picked Fairview. I was loyal. Didn't work out. And then the fans were 6-2. They've picked Fairview and Indy. They really almost had a huge breakout. So the standings: fans 62-14. You and I 64-12.
It's amazing.
Dr. Qualls 65. So we're only one game back here. And by the way, fans, keep going to WCS CO Athletics to participate. Listen, we only got 4 games this week, so we gotta make something happen. We don't need to panic. I didn't go to panic mode last week, but I thought I stretched on a couple of picks. The Fairview pick I thought was a little bit of a stretch. Obviously, you guys didn't, but I thought I'm gonna get that one, and it would have been.
Well, they lost by 7 points.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna pick first. I've got this strategically placed again.
This is bad because I haven't done this all year, and now here I am. I'm thinking more of what I think Dr. Qualls is going to pick. That's not the way to go about it.
No, we can't have him in our head.
No. Okay, hold on. Let me hit a little purge.
All right, here we go. Number 1 Ravenwood, 11-0 versus number 3 Franklin, 6-5. You mentioned Franklin. They're rolling. They're gearing towards this game. Here's your chance. I feel confident if you pick Franklin, you'll have a chance to get a win that maybe none of the rest of us will get. What say you?
You tell me. Okay.
What say you?
Well, thank you for your encouragement. I mean, we just talked about it. I think what he's doing is unbelievable. I think Franklin Brentwood, I don't know, might be picking Franklin. I just think Ravenwood's defense, they're too good, top to bottom. What Coach Atkins has done is unbelievable. Probably deserves region. When does that come out? Region 6A Coach of the Year. Going to be hard if they don't beat Ravenwood, because if Ravenwood keeps on going on. But no, I'm going with the Ravenwood Raptors, and this will be a good game to go to because it's going to be physical.
So I will say this. I think if the last game didn't have some of the, I'm not going to call them shenanigans. That's not the right word, but some of the, it was chippy. It was chippy. Then I think Franklin.
It was spirited.
I think Franklin maybe sneaks up. I think it's going to have the opposite effect. I think Ravenwood is dialed in. I think they win. I think they win fairly comfortably.
I mean, do I need to get the rule sheet out? Are you going that far?
No, I'm not going that far.
Oh, gosh.
I'm just saying it's been a great year for Franklin. There will be no – even if they got dominated, I'm not saying they get dominated. It'd be a great season for them. They've done what they needed to do.
Agreed.
They got into the second round.
Oh, 100%.
I think they lose to the eventual state champion, and I think Ravenwood really plays well.
I do too.
Second matchup.
So we're the same.
We're the same. You know what? I messed up.
You did. I know you did.
I really, yeah.
I threw you off when I started talking about claws in our head.
Well, you go and then dang it. All right, we're gonna
It's not like you, man.
I know,
that doesn't happen
I
much.
know. I'm off my game a little bit. So second pick, which was supposed to be you going first, but I've got to go first.
Would you like for me to go first?
No. Brentwood 9-2 at number 1 Stewart's Creek 10-1. I was wanting to kind of gauge what you did, but I'm just going to hit it head on. You said people are talking about Stewart's Creek.
They are.
Stewart's Creek. Listen, if you don't have enough, head out to Home Depot or Lowe's. They've got some great plastic bins. It'll keep your stuff nice. Nothing will get in.
Get some mothballs.
They're getting the plastic bins out. Brentwood goes on the road. It's a second half game like it always is, but they win 20-3, 20-7, 20-10. Coach Finch, Brentwood, they set up Battle of the Woods number 2 in the quarterfinals.
Real quick, because we've been learning. We've got a lot of new viewers to the show. What is the symbolism of plastic bins? What are the plastic bins used for?
When your season's over, you got to put your unis up.
After you launder them?
Put them up and tuck them away for the year.
You don't need them anymore because you're done.
Plastic bin time.
I'll make it real fast. A lot of people are picking Stewart's Creek in this. I do not happen to be. And up until last week, I was about 50-50 on it. I don't think so, man. They're not going to score enough points on this Brentwood defense. You talked about it ever since you've been the district AD here, back when you were the coach. There's something about Brentwood kids. They, especially older Brentwood kids, they expect to win, and I'm going with the Bruins.
So we both have Brentwood.
Yes, sir.
It's your pick now. Page, 11-0 at home versus number 3 Centennial, 7-4. What say you, Mr. Mathews?
We talked about it. Centennial's playing with a lot of confidence and a lot of excitement and really making big plays all over the place. You don't make big plays against Page. You might make one, but you don't make big plays. I just don't think they can score enough. Page Patriots.
Final pick, me. Nolensville, number 2 seed, 7-4 at number 1.
Page?
Yes.
Yes, gotcha. Okay.
Page.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I'm telling you,
It's okay.
I'm trying to get ahead.
You're trying to mind trick, man.
Page. I got the final pick.
Or do you just want me to pick your Page?
7-4.
Okay.
Nolensville, number 2 seed at number 1 Shelbyville, 10-1. Listen, we did our brackets. We talked about it before, and I said Centennial and Nolensville will both get knocked out by Page. I'm not desperate yet, but I'm throwing a little bit of a Hail Mary. I don't want to do this, dadgummit.
Good
and I'm
grief.
okay being out of it. I'm picking Shelbyville.
First of all,
Dadgummit.
it's Shelbyville.
Of course. I'm not saying that.
Because you were educated. Wow, man.
I guarantee you would have done the same thing.
There's nothing wrong with that pick. The quarterback is a young man named Bobo, good friend of mine from college. His dad, Todd Bobo. It's not a bad pick. They score a lot of points.
I hope I'm wrong.
They're really good. I like what Nolensville's doing. Again, a week ago, I think I probably would have picked Shelbyville. I like what Nolensville's doing. I think it's really close. I think they found a way to manufacture some points because Shelbyville will score. I'm with my man, Paulie D. I'm riding with the Knights.
I feel better about your pick.
You want to swap?
No.
Here's what's going to be interesting. I can go ahead and he won't know, right? There's no way he knows. I can go ahead and tell you right now, Qualls is picking Shelbyville. So I'm either out and he's really in a commanding lead or this thing might be over.
Tate, as always, great to have you in here. Can't wait to talk about and by the way, we've got Basketball Media Day this week. WCTV will be doing a live stream. We appreciate them for doing that.
Tacos?
Mojo's Tacos. Talk a little hoops, man.
We got 15 seconds?
Yeah.
What's the go-to? I know mine. What's the go-to for those that are coming to Mojo's Tacos?
It's not close for me. It's that chili cheeseburger.
Green chili cheeseburger.
Taco. It's not even close.
That's the play.
Get the combo.
Get the combo.
And you might want to mix it up and get one chili cheese and then one, try something else.
I'm going green chili cheeseburger. Green chili cheeseburger and the Nashville hot chicken.
I like the Baja fish.
It's good. Never disappoints. And last thing, Friday night, this is a big weekend, after the playoff wins, after Ravenwood, Brentwood, Page, and Nolensville get their win, Netflix, Logan Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Oh.
Who you got?
Is it Logan?
Or
is it
Jake Paul. Jake Paul, yeah.
Tyson.
What round?
Third.
Okay.
If it goes too deep, it's he's too old. What do you got?
Can you put this as a bonus pick?
Well, sure, but it's not counting.
I'm going Tyson third.
Oh, we agree.
Yeah.
Tate, good to see you.
Yeah, that was great. Go out and support these kids.
Thank you for joining us for Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.